So, what is the most impactful form of communication? That's what we're going to answer here today. Welcome to the Real Estate Game Plan Podcast, where we bring you inspiration, actionable steps, and knowledge to build your game plan to take your real estate business to the next level. My name is Demo.
And I'm Derek, and we are licensed real estate brokers and your hosts for this podcast. Let's get started. So, when it comes to making the most impact, is that going to be a postcard that is going to go out to the mail, to the masses? Is it going to be maybe an Instagram or a Facebook post? Is it going to
A
be
TikTok.
a TikTok? Is it going to be that one on one? What is actually going to be the best thing for me as a real estate agent?
Yeah. So, great questions. And as real estate agents, you really have so many marketing channels at your disposal, right? Social media, print media, handshakes, door knocking, phone calls, all of these things. A lot of times it can be overwhelming, and sometimes it causes agents to do none of it, right? Because we have analysis of paralysis analysis, right? So really, if you think about it and you go to experts like Michael Mayer, who wrote a book called Seven Levels of Communication, what he talks about is a pyramid of communication, and the impact goes up towards the top of the pyramid, which there's only one thing at the top of that pyramid. So we'll save that. But at the bottom of the pyramid, he talks about digital communication, print media, those types of things, right? So advertisements, getting your name out there. That's not really what he calls the most impactful. And so when you inch your way up there, you have to always think about what is the goal through all of those things. We could spend a lot of money and a lot of time, doing a lot of things, but what is it? What is the goal? Where do you want to get to? Derek, do you want to reveal the top of the pyramid?
Absolutely. It's going to be that one on one. And I feel like you need all of it. And we're probably going to do all of it. But I think in the grand scheme of things, just keeping in mind that one on one, that is going to make the most impact. And that's really what the goal is.
Yep. Yep, having that one-on-one meeting. And so what Michael Mayer says is, schedule that time through phone calls, through communication, but ultimately get to that face-to-face with that person. And some people may say this sounds old school, but really, when you think about it, most big business and homes are big business, right? As far as dollar volume goes, most of that takes place in person. Zoom world has taken over, and digital communication is definitely here and here to stay in a big way. But if we can get that one-on-one communication, a lot less is lost in body language and tone and things like that that are a little bit more difficult when you bring in those electronic forms of communication. So, what he says, and it's a tried and true practice, is getting that one-on-one meeting, meeting somewhere, Starbucks, a meeting center, anywhere that is, to be able to have that person and you feel comfortable and just discussing whatever the topic is. What are they looking to do in real estate? What are you looking to do? But really, ultimately, also what he says in the book is thinking about how you can help that person. Right. And so if we always come from a helpful standpoint, a place of, service and help, then I think that really does keep it in perspective. And it also makes it easier to not think of, oh, I got to come in with these slick lines and repeat all these scripts and make this thing happen. It's a conversation between two people, and probably someone that you already know, and maybe that already knows, likes, and trusts you, which ultimately, is the ultimate way to get there. But if they don't already know that about you, then that's what this one-on-one can bring.
Right. Absolutely. And I think a good way to look at these other forms of communication is a gateway to the one on one meeting. And I've heard many stories from real estate agents who will do simple things, demo like they will wear their name tag, their name badge to the local grocery store or just around when they're doing their errands in their life. And will have so many people come up to them and ask questions about that.
Hmm.
What are you what industry are you in? And it
Hmm.
just opens up it opens up the door for them to have a conversation with them about real estate,
Hmm.
and they remember that one-on-one conversation that they had.
Yeah, that brings up a great point, Derek, is for agents to always have something to say, right? Inevitably, someone's going to bring up a question at a barbecue or at the grocery store and say, "How's the market?" or "What's happening in this neighborhood or this area?" or "Did you hear about that development?" So, really being plugged in as an agent to the area you're focused on, but also making sure you have something to say. Know the stats, know what's happening in the mortgage rate side of things, know what's happening in days on market and average sales price. And so having that thing to say is always going to help answer that question. And also when you do get that one-on-one meeting, something that Michael Mayer says is the question to be able to ask that person, which I love it because I think it's very approachable and easy to understand as an agent that you don't have to bring in and say, are you looking to buy or sell today? Which is kind of what's taught from way back when, and it's a little bit more old school. What he talks about again is the way to help. So how can I help you in your life, in your business, that type of question. But then when it comes back to you, being able to ask for the real estate business from that person, he says, you could easily put it like this: if you had a friend or family member who was looking to buy or sell real estate, who would you recommend them to? And so I think that's a really easy question because you're not asking them for business. You're not inserting yourself in there. You're simply asking them a question of who they would recommend a friend or family member to, and hopefully they're going to give you an accurate or an honest answer. And so if it's someone else, great. And if you've heard of that person and know some good things about it, compliment that. But if you, also want to take that a step further, if they do recommend someone, is just to ask them, what would it take for me to be that person that you would recommend? And so just have that conversation. Very easy follow up question. Obviously, if they say, I don't know an agent, then there's your time to talk a little bit more about you. I would love to be that person. Let me tell you why. Here are the things that I bring to the table. And so, as an agent, don't overwhelm yourself. It's an easy conversation. People can smell, the commission breath. And so they can smell that, they can hear that, they can feel that salesy type. And so, we definitely recommend more of the service and helpful side. Educate your clients, and go that route.
Absolutely. Well, you said a lot of great points with that, but being helpful is so important.
Hmm.
And not feeling like you have to have the answer to everything. I think, especially if you are a new agent, you feel like you need to know everything.
Hmm.
And it's okay to get back with people. And maybe they do ask how the market is. And
Hmm.
we know that every market's different, every zip code is different. And so maybe that's an opportunity to get more information from them, ask them where they live, and get back with them. And they will respect you for that.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a great point. I'd love to send you a market report. Your email address is still this, or can I have your email address to send that to? So, always some great things and great ways to stay in touch with, your database and or build your database. But ultimately, today in this topic, we're talking about getting to that one-on-one meeting because ultimately that's where the most impact, that's where the highest return on investment for you, for your time, and where you can really make a splash with that person. And so today we wanted to share that with you.
Right. And don't be afraid to ask for business from businesses that you already do business with.
Hmm.
That is a great opportunity to ask for their business and let them know, talking about not being a secret agent, let them know that you are in the real estate industry and maybe they're not ready right now, but maybe in the future they will be. So you're just kind of opening up that opportunity for later.
That's a great point, Derek. And another podcast we're going to have is going to be talking about extending the life of your real estate career because it is not a 2 week, 6 months, 1 year commitment for most agents who get into the business. They want to look at this as a long term thing. So things like that, building your pipeline, making sure that you're making those connections for the long term. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth on another session. But thanks for watching today. Thanks, Derek, and we'll see you next time. You've been listening to the Real Estate Game Plan podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube and leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you for listening.